because to get a job in Canada and to meet the requirements for a visa, you have to have specific skills. There's an assessment done in Canada if a Canadian business wants to employ someone from overseas, they have to first demonstrate that there's no Canadian or permanent resident of Canada who can do that job, and that can be a difficult thing to do. We have a lot of experience with agents who mislead people, who tell them that they can get them jobs in Canada, and it's not true. Right. And I would say to this gentleman that he would have to be extremely careful, and I would not, if an agent demands a great deal of money up front before the visa is issued, I would suggest that the risk of the job offer not being genuine is higher.
But are otherwise jobs available for them to look forward to any kind of a work permit?
It would depend on the type of work that the person has experience doing, but if you're talking about going to Canada for a low-skilled job, right. I think the likelihood that there would be a legitimate job offer and that the individual would get a visa is fairly low.
Difficult, it's very difficult. We have another caller on our show.
Sure.
हाँ जी, तुसी अपना नाम दसोगे तो कितों बोल रहे हो?
हाँ जी, मेरा नाम विक्रम है।
हाँ जी।
मैं पटियाला में बोल रहा हूँ। मैं ना पूछना सी मैं अपना स्टूडेंट वीज़ा की अप्लाई किया सीगा।
ओके।
ये वो रिजेक्ट हो गया सी अंडर एसपीपी किया सी। वो पूछना सी कि जनरल अंडर करम दा कोई मतलब शायद
ਇਹ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਦੋਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਅਪਲਾਈ?
ਇਹ ਹੁਣੇ ਕੀਤਾ ਜੀ 2 ਜੂਨ ਚ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ।
ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹ ਰਿਜੈਕਟ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਵੀਜ਼ਾ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਰਿਜੈਕਟ ਹੋਇਆ? ਕੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਹ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ?
ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਰੀਜ਼ਨ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਕੋਰਸ ਰੈਲੇਵੈਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ।
ਕੋਰਸ ਰੈਲੇਵੈਂਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ?
ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ।
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਆਪੇ ਅਪਲਾਈ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀਜ਼ਾ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਏਜੰਟ ਜਾਂ ਕੰਸਲਟੈਂਟ ਦੇ ਥਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ?
ਨਹੀਂ, ਏਜੰਟ ਦੇ ਥਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀਗਾ।
ठीक है, तुसी सामने बने रहो। मैं हुनी इन्होंने में सवाल पूछती हूँ, Mr. Frank. Now this guy, he applied for a student visa under SPP program, and his visa was rejected. And the refusal, the reason for the refusal was that the course is not relevant and under the SPP, and he had applied through an agent.
That can be a factor that we consider. When we assess a student application, one of the things that we consider is does it make sense to apply for a particular course given an individual's background, the studies they've previously done, you know, how long they've worked and so on. And if you're studying something that's very different from what you studied before, if you've been working for a while,
if there's no relation between,
if there's no relation, then that suggests to us that perhaps this individual is not a genuine student, and they're applying for a study permit just so that they can get into Canada, and that they may not actually study when they're there. They may not be a serious student. So that could definitely be a part of a reason for a refusal.
Right. We have another caller on our show.
Sure.
तुसी अपना नाम दसोगे तो कित्थों बोल रहे हो?
मेरा नाम नरेंद्र है जी, मैं हरियाणा तो बोल रहा हूँ।
हाँ जी, की पूछना चाहोगे तुसी?
ये 2008 ਤੋਂ 2004 ਤੋਂ 2008 ਤੱਕ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਐਪਲੀਕੇਸ਼ਨਾਂ ਪੀਆਰ ਦੇ ਲਈ ਅਪਲਾਈ ਕਰੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਬਣਿਆ ਜੀ? ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੀ ਪਰਮਾਨੈਂਟ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਪਲਾਈ ਕਰੀਆਂ ਤੇ?
जी जी, मैं बिल्कुल पूछती हूँ। Now this guy is asking that many people had applied in between 2004 and 2008 for permanent residency, and there is like a lot of information in the market floating, negative information in the market floating about those applications.
This is applying for as a federal skilled worker. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah. We have we are going to be ending those applications if they applied before February 27, 2008. Basically, there are many applications that have that we've had for many years, and we've determined that these people no longer necessarily have the skills, the education, the language proficiency that's necessary to successfully establish in Canada right now. Right. What we're looking at doing is modifying our criteria for determining who would be successful in Canada, and we want to bring those people in quickly. And I mean, It's unfortunate for the people who
Absolutely.
applied before.
Yeah, because this procedure took a lot of time.
But what we're saying now is these people will have trouble successfully establishing in Canada. There may be some of them who do meet our requirements, and what we're saying to those people, apply under our new system. And you know, beforehand it could take 8 years. We're going to do the new cases in 8 months. So we're going to bring people who meet our requirements, who can successfully establish quickly and contribute to the Canadian economy. What I would say to these unfortunate people is, do you really want to go to Canada if we're saying to you, you're actually going to have trouble establishing?
But Mr. Frank, in support of these people, I would like to say something over here, is that many people, they did not study further just because they were waiting to move to Canada. Many people, they did not invest in the business because they were waiting to move to Canada. And there are many who delayed their marriages as well because they were planning to go to Canada. And all their plans, they have actually fallen flat.
It's unfortunate if that's the case, but ultimately we want people who can establish in Canada quickly and successfully. We're developing a responsive system for selecting people who can contribute to the economy. There have been a lot of people who've gone to Canada and they've found that they haven't been able to work in the same fields they worked in earlier.
Right.
And we're addressing that now. We're going to do an assessment of equivalencies of people's education. So we're going to make sure that the people who arrive in Canada will be able to work in the fields that they worked in before and successfully establish. It's very unfortunate for the people who are in the backlog, but is it better to bring in people who are going to successfully establish, or to send people who may have difficulty establishing at that time?
Mr. Frank, we'll just come back to you in a short while. It's time to slip into a short break. Stay tuned as we explore the country of your dreams, Canada.